야쿠자! 제노사이 카타!
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and this is my second time making this damn video. I actually made this thing already, and then I found out my recordings were having some technical difficulties, if you will, so I had to freaking do this again. But the dev team actually released a video yesterday talking about upcoming things that we're going to be getting in the game and talking about their, the process that they use to which to figure out, how they're actually going to be doing these game modes. So let's go ahead and pull this up and let's watch this and check it out. Let's see what these guys got to say. And it is translated in English for y'all. Okay, so we got Manager Chris as always. What's up, buddy? So they're talking about new dungeons that they're creating some spice in the game, yes. So right now he's already talking about how there's new dungeons already in the process of being made for the game, which is awesome. That's exciting news for us because we need some new content in KOF badly. We need it. We've been playing the same old stuff for quite some time now, and we definitely need some new content. Let's just hope it's good. All right. Okay, so we got Clark here, which is pretty cool. Lieutenant Clark of the Dungeon Team. These guys really do have a great sense of humor. I got to give it to them. Okay, so they got a new dungeon, the Demos Rage. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm not even going to try to say that. But they got a new dungeon here. Let's take a look at it. You guys see over on the left here. And check this thing out. Now, this is pretty wild. Now, this is pretty damn wild, right? You see we got 6 characters here. You see we have a life meter is what it looks like right here. So that's going to be very, very interesting. I'm not sure. I think these are probably strikers more than likely. And in this dungeon, we actually are going to go down and up. It kind of reminds you of Tower of Trials, except it looks a lot cooler. But you're actually going to go down instead of going up. So the deeper the hole, hopefully the better rewards that you're actually going to get. So, it's going to have different levels as far as going down. So, it's kind of like, it's like the opposite of Chapter 5 is what it is, right? In Chapter 5, you're trying to move up. Whereas in this, you're actually going to go down. That's what she said. Giggity. Okay. And you get to choose buffs as you go along, which is pretty interesting, right? You're going to have, 3 different buffs, and you're actually going to want to stack these on top of each other. I'm not sure exactly what these say is. I can't read this language, unfortunately. The goal is to stack the buffs, okay. So now we know that we can actually stack the buffs on top of each other. It's just not going to be one applied buff. You're going to be able to apply multiple buffs at the same time. Hopefully we're going to have it looks like we might be getting choices of buffs to where you actually have some strategy as far as, which buffs you're actually going to choose for the characters that you're playing with. But more than likely, in KOF, it's probably going to be more like, attack, but we'll see. So now he's asking what part of the development he's actually in charge of. He's in charge of the level design, okay. So if you guys don't like the design, then you know who to blame.
레벨 디자인이라는 게 좀 어떤 건지 이번 던전에서 어떤 제작 과정을 담당하셨는지 조금 자세하게 설명해 주실 수 있나요? 킹오프 올스타에서 던전을 제작한다는
Alright, so now he's talking about how they create a dungeon. So the first thing they do is they create an out-game UI, which figures out what kind of enemies you're actually going to be playing against. And then, of course, the rewards that you're going to be receiving in that particular game mode. So he's in charge of figuring out how the enemies actually appear and reappear, their levels of strength and power. So he's like daddy to the level design. There's a lot of other fathers besides me. That's pretty funny, actually. How do you decide enemy placements and their actions? Well, when they're making a dungeon, they need context to figure out which enemies are appearing, which decides what kind of visual style they'll be using. All right.
기획을 먼저 하게 되고요. 필요하면은 아트팀에 이제 요청을 하게 됩니다. 배경이 필요하면은 이제
Nice.
부분을 요청을 하게 되고
Okay.
킹즈 몬스터가 필요하다.
So there's you know, whenever you're making a game, obviously there's so much that's involved. You got so many different design teams and design individuals that are a part of, you know, making this a complete game, right?
애니메이션 팀에 신규로 요청을
I really do like these videos because they really do provide a lot of insight as far as, you know, the process by which to make a game. Now this here, this is actually like, if you guys have ever made like any kind of animations using software, this is what you would see is this kind of thing right here. I've actually kind of dabbled around in animation software before, and I gotta tell you, man, it's extremely complicated and difficult. Shout out to those of you that actually do that. That is insanely hard. It gets complicated. Yeah, it's super complicated. Very hard. I mean, it gets way more than this. This is, trust me, it's over the top. Very hard to deal with.
파이터 제작 과정하고 조금 비슷하다고 이해해 주시면 될 것 같아요. 얼만큼의 이제 판정을 줄 거고,
Okay.
데미지를 줄 거고, 피격 후에는 이제 뭐 파이터가 넘어.
So now they're talking about, you know, the different effects that fighters do, like in whether they knock down a fighter, whether they stun the fighter, maybe freeze them or whatever.
이런 이제 세팅들을 진행을 하게 됩니다. 이러한 과정이 다 끝나게 되면은 비로소 이제 몬스터 한 마리가 완성이 되는 거고, 이러한 이제 몬스터를 이제 복사해서 이제 맵에 배치를. 그 맵을 구성한 게 이제 제가 막 아까
Alright.
했던 이제
Interesting.
업무의 이제 전체적인 작업 순서라고 봐주시면 될 것 같습니다.
신규 몬스터 들어가면 사운드도 해야 되고.
네네 맞습니다. 신규 몬스터도 사운드죠.
제가 봤을 때
Ah, they do use sounds when they make these things up.
모든 파트가
Nice.
다 협업을 하시는 파트인 것 같아요. 그리고
네.
제작 기간도 엄청 오래 걸리시고.
Yeah, it's to be expected that it takes a long time to create a dungeon. I mean, there's a lot that comes into play whenever they're making these things. I mean, there's a lot of people working together to come up with these ideas and to implement them and make them come to fruition.
제가 뭐 채찍 들고 찰싹찰싹 언제 배우만 하시고.
Chris is just saying all he does is talk. Just shoot the crap.
네?
I like how they show they're making the face for Clark. Nice.
어려움, 뭐 난이도.
How do you decide each dungeon's difficulty? Interesting.
던전의 자체적인
The dungeon usually has its own specifications in terms of difficulty, all right? And they compare the general power level of players with it. Okay, so depending on the level of the dungeon depends on, you know, how difficult it's going to be compared to the actual characters that you're going to be using in it.
어려울지 아니면 쉽게 할지 이런 거 좀 컨셉을 먼저.
So they decide if the dungeon's going to be easy or not, and then they move on after that.
전투력이죠, 그렇죠?
네, 맞습니다.
되게 전투력이 어느 정도 되면은 이걸 클리어할 수 있게끔 이게 두 번째.
It's all about that combat power, baby.
다양한 그 전투력을 가진 유저분들이 플레이를 하기 때문에
They have to make them easy since players from all walks of life have different levels of characters.
엄청 어렵게 밸런스를 하게 됩니다. 거기에 이제 파이터의 스펙 그 기준으로
It's good to know they run fighter simulations. That's actually really good to know that. They should be doing that extensively.
스펙을 이제 줄줄이 이제 나열을 해서 이제 자료가 오게 됩니다. 전투력을 이제 측정을 하고 그 전투력에 따라서 몬스터들
Alright.
수치를 이제 부여를 하게 됩니다.
Not bad. Going back to the cutting out the Clark face.
본인이 작업하신.
What's the most memorable thing you worked on? We're getting personal now.
전당은
Halls of Element. Hall of Element actually I think is one of the better game modes that we have in the game because you can actually farm in there and actually get, I said chapter 5, I disagree with that one, but at least in Halls of Elements, you know, we can actually farm in there, use our coins to get other memories, right? And combine those memories. Like if you already got a character level 50 or you just don't need memories and you want to get those memories to combine for dimensional invitation tickets, you can use those for collaboration characters, which is awesome, right? So that game mode is actually still really good to this day. Even if you already finished it, the rewards are well worth, you know, playing it.
테스트 할 때 좀 여러 가지로 다양한 에피소드가
Alright.
있었습니다.
그거 왜 여러 가지. 유저분들이 이렇게 막 파괴법을 내놓고.
Okay, so now they're talking about how in Chapter of Fight, everybody was figuring out those cheesy ways to cheese it, right? Remember before, whenever we would just apply dot, like you would need a certain amount of CP, like maybe they'd say 150,000 CP, but you only had 50,000 CP on your character. You could still freaking fly through the damn thing as long as you had dot. As long as you didn't take any damage and apply the dot, you could still get it done. And that's what they're talking about right now.
데미지로 하면 된다.
Yeah, so he said using dot right there.
동향 체크하면서 야 이런 방법.
And he's like, I remember he said he remember being impressed by seeing that we all figured those things out.
저런 방법인데 하면서
Yeah. You know, we'll get it done, my friends. Don't give us a way to cheat the system. Otherwise, we'll probably find a way to do it.
하시는 계획이 있으신지
So what's the plan for future dungeons?
기존에 있던 컨텐츠의
So he's thinking about extending existing content like story mode, which is phenomenal. And you guys might notice right there, we got a little nameless there. Just saying, a little nameless right there for those of you eagle-eyed nameless fans. And they're also talking about guild content, which is very, very exciting news. Whoops!
떨어지고 싶지만
I don't know if it really matters since he was already wearing a mask, but
제가 막
okay.
시간을 써서라도 가능하다면 이제 제공을
So I mean, it's really exciting. You know, we got this new dungeon coming. We know that some guild content's coming. They're working on new story content. And with story content, we know we got a lot of damn rubies coming, which is good. We definitely need that.
복합적인 이유가 항상 하고 있는 상황이라서
네네.
이제 유저분들께 확답을 드리기보다
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about how, you know, they don't want to give exact dates as far as, you know, when they're going to release these things. Because, I mean, there's a lot that entails in them. It takes a long time to create these things, and that's totally understandable.
저희도 하고 있다 정도로 말씀을 드리고 싶습니다.
신규 스토리 모드 하나랑 길드 쪽에서 좀 전투를 할 수 있는
Yeah, man.
한 개.
Give us some in-game content, boys. Give it to us. So that's the end of the video, and now we know that we got some new guild content coming. We know that we're going to have new story modes that's going to be coming in the future, which is great, especially for Ruby content. And we also know that we're going to be getting a new dungeon. And honestly, you know, depending on the rewards in the dungeon, right, and the difficulty of it, really depends on how well it's going to be received, right? If it has really good rewards, like this is just, you know, hoping for the best. But if you could actually farm for SS or BS memories in that thing, then that would be fantastic. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, have your characters at A5, max out, maybe 5 Emperor Stones, and then you could actually get, you know, BS memories and SS memories over time. Like, have a time gate on it. You know, you can't just farm them over and over and over, but have a time gate on it, right? You know, a little gatekeeping, if you will, to make sure that people can't just wail out and just wail out every single character, because they still need incentive to pull in those banners. But have us a way to farm those memories every so often would be pretty damn awesome. But again, it really just is going to depend on the rewards as far as the new game modes are concerned. So really, really exciting stuff. I mean, really, I think a lot of players would like to see the dev teams talk about how they're trying to work on lag issues, slow-mo issues. I mean, those are legitimate criticisms of Kofus, right? Those are legitimate. Like, that is a problem that happens in this game, especially after all these updates. And I think it would be really nice maybe if the dev team actually talked about that as well. It's good to talk about new content. It's good to talk about all these things that are coming up. I'm really excited for all of this, but they really should kind of talk about all the other issues that the game has. I mean, lag and slow-mo really does hinder a lot of people's performance in the game, especially if they're playing on a low-end device. So that is something I would like to see them address. So let me know how you're all feeling about the dev video. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.